As the cliche goes, April showers bring May flowers. But usually what comes after is the heat and dryness of summer. Hello again, Essay here. And before the hot weather of the holiday shows up, you should indulge in my new short story, The White Cat, a free exclusive on Substack. The links are down below in description. Join Margot Thompson, a beautiful stage actress and recent widow who finds salvation in the form of a white cat during a night of terror. While checking out my oddball thriller, remember that my Glitch series is still available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. The links are down below in the description. While you'll find my peculiar story about a white pussy entertaining, that doesn't mean I'm out of ideas. I still have more stories coming down the pike, so as long as I don't run into any mishaps, you'll see those stories as well. Now let's get back to the video. Hello again, Essay here. Throughout the history of democratic discourse, there's been debates. Even back through the days of Socrates and Plato in the old Athenian republic, or I should say city-state. And even in modern times, you had some real humdingers of ones in the British Parliament during the time of Disraeli. And even here in the United States, we had the famous Lincoln-Douglas debates, which was a real full of zingers and whatnot. And of course, we all know how that turned out. Yeah, Lincoln became president, and he had probably one of the most monumental moments in American history land right in his lap, the Civil War. And of course, in my time, there was the Kennedy-Nixon debates. Of course, I was a wee little baby, but yeah, I was around. And most people said that even though Nixon won the debate because he had his facts straight, people felt in the end old Jack Kennedy was more photogenic, and therefore people claimed that he won the debate. At least people who saw it on TV, as opposed to just merely listening to it on the radio. And then I remember when I was a small kid, I saw the debate between Jimmy Carter and Gerald Ford. And Gerald Ford, he basically stepped in and bagged up when he famously said, or should say notoriously said, Eastern Europe is not under Soviet domination. And of course, anyone who was paying attention to the last 20 plus years of the Cold War would say, wait, what? Yeah. And then, of course, I remember debates between Bush 41, Bill Clinton, and Ross Perot. I think that was probably the first time they had a three-way debate. And Ross Perot definitely won that debate because, well, Ross Perot definitely knew his facts, because most people at that time never heard of NAFTA. I never heard of NAFTA. And Bill Clinton, he basically was throwing Ronald Reagan's old line, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And old Bush, he was constantly checking his watch, wondering, when's this debate going to be over? And of course, you shouldn't do that on camera. It's a bad look. But anyway, this video is not so much about past debates. It's about the one that happened most recently with old Trump. And no, I ain't referring to the one he did with Sleepy Joe. No, I'm talking about the one he did with Harris. Now, anyone who was paying attention to the debate could tell you that Harris, she was a lot more polished than usual. Because anyone who's seen enough of her speeches, if you can call them speeches, knows that the woman is not good when thinking on the fly. No, I think that probably more regular houseflies probably can think better on the fly than she could if it came down to it. And yes, she sounded a lot more polished than usual. Why? Well, you could probably say maybe she did her homework for once, or if you're conspiratory, you could probably say, oh, maybe someone was feeding her the answers in some earpiece. And indeed, I remember when old George W. was going up against John Kerry, and people noticed that there was something inside of George Bush's suit. Picture from the back looked like a book or something in his suit, some square thing, and people said, "What is that, transmitter?" We never found out, but it was very suspicious. And of course, some of you right now are saying, "Oh, she had these weird earbuds that look like earrings," and someone's probably feeding her the answers. That's possible. But unless you have hard proof, we can't go any further on that. But who really won that debate? Well, it depends on who you ask. I mean, if you're all in for Trump, you probably say, yeah, Trump 2024, yeah. If you're all in for Harris, and the so-called joy crowd, they say, yeah, woo, Harris waltz all the way. But what if you were in the middle? What if you were not really rooting for either side? I mean, how would you feel about that debate? Well, I got a simple video from old Mark Dice, and let's just say he has his own little insight about that debate. Okay, are you ready? Here we go.
Well, the big debate was last night, and while it wasn't nearly as entertaining as the one against old Joe, which I guess was really more sad than anything else, Donald Trump did get some great zingers in, but it wasn't exactly, I would say, a decisive victory because it wasn't just Donald Trump against Kamala Harris. It was 3-1. It was Donald Trump against Camel Face and the two different moderators, David Muir and whoever the other woman was. As expected, they let her spew lie after lie after lie while pushing back and interrupting and supposedly fact-checking Donald Trump every chance that they could. Here she is completely ignoring their questions straight out the gate and pivoting to her unrelated prepared talking points.
When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid, and I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people. And that is why I imagine and have...
That's why you're taking our tax dollars and giving it to the tens of millions of illegal aliens that you and old Joe have enticed to come and invade our country. But here's Donald Trump setting the record straight and getting in quite the zinger.
Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's gone to my philosophy. But if she ever got...
Yeah, stealing the no tax on tips plan, stealing his child tax credit plan, and then upping it $1,000, even stealing his idea for building a border wall now. Here's another one, which is a throwback to the 2020 vice presidential debates when Camel Face was squaring off against Mike Pence.
Big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute. I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar? She went out.
The question. Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Okay.
And then there was this gem.
And we have a president that we don't even know if he's. Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
they
here,
threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't even know. Is he our president? But we have a president,
Mr. President,
that doesn't know he's alive.
your time is up.
You mean this guy who's been on vacation for the last month and a half? Well, I mean, really, I guess the last 3.5 years, but you know what I mean.
I'm going up to my granddaughter's birthday in New York. Then we're going to watch a debate. And then tomorrow I'm doing 9/11. I spoke to the vice president. She seems calm.
He's doing 9/11. Huh? Well, actually, I think that was George W. Bush and his neocon friends. But anyway, since the entire debate was set up so that Kamala Harris could spew a bunch of lies and anything Donald Trump said would be used against him, I mean, what's next? Is she going to repeat the same old tired fake news about Charlottesville and Donald Trump claiming that there were very fine people on both sides? Oh, wait, what's this?
Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say?
He condemned the actual Nazis who were there, and there were some, but did make it clear that there were very fine people on both sides of the arguments about whether or not the Confederate statues should or should not be removed from public places.
There were fine people on each side.
A claim so fake that even Snopes, after 7 years, finally did fact check it and admitted the obvious. No, Trump did not call neo-Nazis and white supremacists very fine people. All that it would have taken to realize that obvious fact the day that he made those statements back in 2017 would be to watch a 30-second clip of the press conference regarding the statements in question.
You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
Yes, sir, and this meme basically illustrates the gist of the entire debate. At one point, the debate really did go off the rails, especially if the viewers at home weren't following the unusual allegations regarding the Haitian migrants who've been settled in, well, across the country now because they want to brown your small town, but particularly the ones who have been settled in Springfield, Ohio, and their, how shall I say, alleged unusual dietary habits, because Donald Trump just dumped this on the audience.
And look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
Now, those allegations may or may not be true. That remains to be seen. But they have sparked some hilarious memes like this: the English breakfast versus the Haitian breakfast. And people have been using the AI image generators to make some hilarious memes like this one of Donald Trump saving the cats from the Haitians. Some of which Donald Trump himself is reposting over on Truth Social, which is causing a major meltdown in the media. Here's another one showing Donald Trump protecting the cats and the ducks, another rumored delicacy among the Haitian immigrants. These are some of the best memes that I've seen in a while. It feels like 2016 meme magic is back. Remember when illegal aliens who ate cats was fiction? Good times. And this, Harris for president, a cat in every pot. Here's Congressman Eric Swalwell having a complete meltdown after the House Judiciary Committee's Twitter account reposted one.
What in the hell is this? The chairman tweets, "Protect our ducks and kittens in Ohio," because he goes down some crazy rabbit hole, completely debunked that aliens are eating pets. My God, are you okay, Mr. Chairman? I don't know why you would do this. I hope you're okay. I don't know if the aliens who are eating your ducks are in the room with us right now, but Mr. Chairman, this is a serious issue. These people have loved ones who have been lost, and you tweeted this.
Donald Trump did take her bait several different times and got thrown off topic and went off on different tangents. But overall, it was not a bad debate, wasn't a great debate. And again, it was 3 against 1. But he did finish strong with this simple closing statement.
So she just started by saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things. Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it? She should leave right now, go down to that beautiful White House, go to the Capitol, get everyone together and do the things you want to do, but you haven't done it and you won't do it.
That's right. And at this point, I don't even think it's about trying to convince any undecided voters to vote for one particular candidate over the other. I think everybody has pretty much made up their mind, or they're leaning in one direction and they're not going to lean back in the other. It's about convincing those people to actually get out and vote.
Okay, you saw that. Yeah, well, you could say, well, Mark Dykes, he's all in for Trump anyway, so he can't, he can discount almost everything he can say. And I'm thinking, yeah, I will concede that Mark Dykes is definitely, not you would call nonpartisan, but I have to admit, he's not totally in a tank for Trump, because there have been other videos where he actually criticized Trump for making mistakes and tripping over his own tongue and messaging. And I have to admit, Trump, he has a habit of doing that, especially if he goes off on a tangent and starts, well, for loss of a better word, talking about other things than what's important at the moment. But in the case of this debate, you can't deny that Trump, at least for the most part, he stayed on message. Yeah, Harris, she definitely tried to, kneecap him, by throwing zingers at him like Charlottesville and the Very Fine People hoax, and oh my God, the stupid thing about January 6th, which was total malarkey, and yada yada yada. But at least Trump, for the most part, didn't allow her to get away with it. Now, of course, that guy Muir, who was moderating, multiple people said that he was clearly in the tank for Harris. And it gets worse, because it came out after the debate that the woman who was there at the debates at the moderator stage, she and Harris knew each other back when they went to university together. And you say, wait, what? Yeah. Apparently they were sorority sisters at the same sorority. Now, of course, before you could say conflict of interest, yeah, absolutely. Now, you could probably say maybe they didn't get along in their university. Well, be it as it may, the fact that they actually knew each other back at university at the same sorority house, that in itself was suspicious. Oh, and it gets worse. Apparently, the guy who's currently running ABC News, apparently this clown, I think his name was Dana something or other, I can't think of his last name, apparently he was a matchmaker for Harris and her current husband. And you say, wait, what? Yeah, they're old friends. They go back years. In fact, apparently Harris met her current husband, I can't think of the clown's name for nothing, at a pro-abortion rally. So there you go. Birds of a feather, right? Now, of course, at this point, you're probably saying, well, hell, man, this didn't like much of a debate. Yeah, I agree. In fact, even Trump, after the debate, said it was like basically being in a boxing ring with Roberto Roban, Marvelous Marlon Hagler, and Mike Tyson, all punching you at the same time. And you know what? He ain't kidding. Because the Harris, she was just throwing out one big shovel full of BS after another. And when Trump would come out and say things that were on the surface seemed to be outlandish, like dogs and cats being used as a Sunday dinner in Springfield, Ohio, the guy sat there and said, "Oh, that's not really happening." Are you kidding me? There are videos right now where on the computer right now, I actually seen it, where people had gotten the 911 phone calls to the Springfield police saying, yeah, we spotted some people going to the damn duck pond, grabbing the ducks and driving off with them. And last time I checked, you're not supposed to do that. Not in Springfield, definitely not in my zip code. I mean, they catch you out there in, like, say, MacArthur Park, jumping to the damn duck pond and trying to grab some of the damn ducks and geese to say, we're going to have me some Peking duck. Guess what? You better make sure there ain't no cops around. Or somebody with a damn cell phone camera filming your dumb ass. Yeah, you're going to end up famous low at 6 o'clock news. No joke. So, yeah. And then, of course, you say, well, what the hell's going on with that? Well, apparently it came out after the debate that the people, the big boss at ABC decided that Trump should not win this debate, that they should make Harris as good as possible. Now, of course, some of you are probably saying, well, that's like putting lipstick on a pig with earrings and a Miss Piggy wig. And I will concede, yeah. Well, they did their best. Did they succeed? Well, according to CNN, the initial poll that they did, real-time poll, because they had a bunch of people, in the, watching in real time. A lot of them were not impressed with Harris. Indeed, a lot of people said that they one of the first questions they asked her during the debate was, "What are you going to do about the economy?" She basically, dodged and weaved, like Herschel Walker on the football field. And I'm thinking, yeah, I guess I wouldn't really have a way of answering that question. She just decided not to answer it at all. Yeah. Talking about when she worked at McDonald's. Something that was another big fit, because apparently no one can find any McDonald's either in the United States or even in Canada where they can find her as an employee. Yep. And then, of course, during the debate, she quoted some damn economic report from Goldman Sachs. And just within the last couple of days, the guy who actually wrote that report came out publicly on Fox Business News and said that our report only said that there was a less than 1% difference between Harris and Trump's alleged proposals for fixing the economy. And I'm thinking less than 1%. I mean, good grief, that's like a rounding error, for Pete's sakes. Yeah. And of course, before this debate, someone already called out the previous survey from a bunch of people who allegedly claimed were financial experts. At like universities of economics, claiming that Trump's proposals for economy would be no good. And then it came out afterwards that the majority of these people, is like about 20 economists were actually DNC donors and shills. Oh yeah, they had degrees in economics. They also had a DNC party pin attached to their lapel. So there you go. In other words, you basically can't count what they're saying. Now, of course, you say, what does this debate have to do with overall election? Well, it depends. If you were impressed by Trump, you probably would vote for Trump. If you're impressed by Harris, you probably vote for Harris. But if you were impressed by neither one, you'll probably either stay at home or you probably end up voting for Cornell Weil. I'm not sure Cornell Weil is on the ballot in all 50 states. Because right now, as we speak, Robert Kennedy Jr., if you remember, he recently dropped out and supported Trump. He's trying to get his name off of certain state ballots. Well, the funny thing is, in the case of Michigan, Cornel West, he has been unable to get on the ballot in Michigan. And yet, even though Kennedy had got on there long ago, the Democratic Party is, for some unknown reason, trying to keep him from taking his name off the ballot in Michigan. And you say, why? Well, if you're a suspicious person, apparently they hurt Trump. Because let's not pretend, there are people out there who are basically, Joe Sixpack types who don't watch the news every day. In fact, they barely watch the news once a week. So they probably don't even know that Robert Kennedy had dropped out. Which means they're going to go into the ballot box and vote for Robert Kennedy, even though Robert Kennedy is no longer running. And apparently, there's a lot of people in the Michigan DNC are basically counting on that. So there you go. But in the end, voting matters. Voting counts. Because what if you have an election, no one shows up? Nobody wins. And what if you have an election that only have one person show up? Guess what? That person who they vote for is going to win the election by that one solitary vote. So if you're a Trump supporter or a Harris supporter, you're not going to win based on the results of this debate. You're going to win based on the number of little pieces of paper that your candidate has their name on. That's how you're going to win. So if you want Trump to win, you better get off your big fat ass and vote. If you want Harris to win, you better do the same. Because sitting there with hopes and prayers ain't going to push either of them over the finish line. You have to vote. Period. Well, that's all I got to say about this ridiculous debate. There wasn't much of a debate at all. And that's my opinion.